everyone, Ivy Gaming here, and today we're playing Dragonheir Silent Gods. For today's video, we're gonna go and work on another Chaos Shadow boss for the Continental Challenge. This time, we're gonna face the boss that's weak versus necrotic. Today's video is sponsored by Dragonheir Silent Gods, my favorite sponsor because it's my favorite game that I've played in a long time. Be sure to join us for Season 3, Dive Deep, Battle Peak. There's a ton of new heroes, new bosses, and lots to explore. Be sure to download via Android, iOS, Mac, PC, Steam, or Epic Games if you haven't already, and use the currently working promo codes. Alright, so for this video, this is going to be a boss guide video where I give general advice for team compositions, positioning, all that fun stuff. And we're also going to run one of my teams, the team that I'm going to use. So it'll be a little bit of a team showcase and attempt, but it's not about my team per se. We're just more so talking about the different elements of fighting this boss to be successful and talk about other heroes and options that can work well. So don't get lost by the shiny legendaries that I'm going to use in my fight. It's not about that. So, alright, the Chief Challenge. So this boss is the Ice Boss. He looks pretty cool. Really a fun design. He looks like an interesting mixture of the mermaid stuff meets our new wonderful groom, Theodemir. Quite creepy. Alright. So we have... Let's go in here. He is a frost boss. Now, this boss is, as far as the mechanics go, the same as Okadir, the legendary frosty horseman that we can get from the Horn and Starlight dies. So that's pretty much this boss. So easy enough, nothing too complicated. Stay out of his range and you're good to go. Alright, so when the monster's alive, extends the duration of frost to all allies by 5 seconds. Targets under frost now explode in their current position every 1 second. So you want to make sure that whoever's getting targeted by frost, which is a very specific area around the boss or this small block here, you want to make sure that that it's just like a tank, someone that can take it, or have a cleanser to deal with the frost. That's the kind of thing you're going to be looking for. Like all the bosses, they are immune to control effects, and they have the special bonus damage that adds up over time. Alright, so the first skill deals cold damage to enemies within range with a 100% chance of inflicting frost for 5 seconds. Simple enough. Attacks one specific area, which is going to be where your tank is, plus others depending on your positioning. So we're going to take a look at positioning. And that's the same as the second skill as well. And then we have this kind of AoE around the boss, typical for some of the melee heroes, where he puts increased attack up on himself because he's the only frost ally, and then he's going to add more damage, and he's going to put up frost as well. And so there's a couple of ways you could deal with. So you could deal with the frost, right? You could cleanse the frost. You could dispel the frost. You could dispel from yourself, dispel the attack up from him, but that's not necessary, I've found, for this battle. So it really depends on how well you do. But if you are not dying, if you can last the whole fight without adding someone to buff strip or without adding a cleanser, then well, you don't need to add one, do you? So let's go in here. Obviously our goal is 22 million or more. So this is actually my team, and I was playing around with the setup and testing how we were getting a hit before I ran in here, actually. So I'm actually using one tank up here. And so you can have everyone else all shoved in the corner. I mean, he needs to just be within range because he has this very specific damage. But everyone else can be here. And this boss can be here. And now, even though we have a bigger grouping here, the tank is going to pull the boss over. So you're going to notice that. We are going to have some skeletons that summon, so they're going to run up and attack the boss as well. from Zadok. Zadok is a top tier damage dealer for this boss, so a really great, more free to play friendly option. If you got Ravatrix Roots, that's a really great damage dealing artifact because of how much HP, or sorry, attack it actually gives you. So this artifact on any of your DPS, for the sake of an epic or a rare hero, is just top tier. We are going to be going with Emperor gear as much as we can because it's just really strong, as well as these ignored defense, increased damage when the enemy's under defense penalty is also going to be the goal for your main DPS. So he's my main DPS, and I would say Premsa is probably my second one. I do have her in Flora's gear, as I would say. It's all my Enlightenment gear plus the fan. Actually, she should be even further away. I think we're as far away as we can be, to be fair, for this boss. But yeah, not perfect gear, but pretty good. But my Enlightenment could certainly be higher, but it's good enough. We're gonna be gear farming still. It never ends. Hopefully I'll get some better gear. I do have all my people only at level 95. So in my team, what I'm working at versus this boss is an actual summoner team, which I've been waiting for an excuse to use my summon heroes for a while. So as soon as I knew that Zadok was a pretty good candidate, I wanted to actually build a summon team. And Joyce, to be fair. Joyce is really cool with his Fortune Phantoms, his clones of himself, which are really nice. So I have him here also in Emperor gear, although I feel like I could build him a lot better. I just have pretty weak gear right now for Emperor still. I do have him in the Dom Pipe Organ, so that way everyone does more damage. Why not? It helps everyone. I do think there's a lot of better options, like the eyeball that you could use instead or something else. And then we also have Zarloth as part of this team. Zarloth is amazing because he can bring some actual damage himself, which is why I did decide to build him with crit and a decent attack. He's got pretty low attack, to be fair. But I did build him with attack, and that's because I went with this chest. I should have an attack percentage chest on him, but I went with this chest to increase our heals just to see how it goes and see if I could stay alive well. And I definitely did. To be fair, I definitely did. And the good thing about this build, actually, with the 96 accuracy here, the accuracy is converted to attack anyway. So this, having an accuracy chest, and having this slingshot artifact is an okay combination because it just converts it to attack anyway, and you can benefit from both things because I need accuracy to land his recharging speed penalty. We can't control him, but it's fine. But yeah, I did decide to use him as just for this. But I could have done a no accuracy build at all and not worried about the recharging speed penalty. Honestly, I didn't need it. But he is a really great option. I have to mention Zarloth. If Kirza is really great for the other boss as well, the one with a weak against lightning. But if you haven't used her and you use someone else for that boss, she's another amazing option as a tank because she brings attack penalty and recharging speed penalty, and she affects the ultimate energy as well. Like she busts herself. She's really cool and a really great hero to use, and she's great for Witch's Remains. So I have, again, my tank in Witch's Remains, who is Fathom Down, which was fun because I wanted an excuse to use him. I do really like this character. He's really fun. He's got a great ultimate with his full board, smash, and multi-hits over time and attack penalty, and reduction of ultimate energy. So we are definitely making the boss slow down. Fathom Down is a great tank, so because he is the main tank, I did put him in Tundra set, although I could have used something else. But honestly, I don't need Ancestral Protection because other people are not going to get hit. So the fun thing with this build is you don't have to worry about their survivability because he's going to be the only one getting hit. Kind of like the Tall War boss of last season. So the Tall War boss was the same thing. It was put one person up here, draw the boss up, and then have everyone else somewhere around in this corner here. So that way, yeah, he was the only, they're not affected and just the actual tank is. So for aura, the only thing I have is Gulen, which is fine. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and point out some other stuff. So obviously, if you have Shadow, you can destroy this boss if you have Ozul. Personally, I wanted to try my summoners because, well, I finally want to use Premsa. I did get Gaiolere, but I really don't know that he's worth adding to the team, so and taking out another damage dealer. So I didn't really think I was going to use him. But if anybody used Gaiolere with big success versus this boss or really has a love for him, let me know in the comments. I would love to see what kind of team comps you use with him, considering my heroes. I have Arzilas as well. But I think Premsa plus Joyce is kind of a stronger set. There's a lot of other... You could use any lightning tank against this boss, or necro tank, to keep the 5 synergy going. So there's a lot of fun options there. You could use Irma, you could use... I mean, you really don't... It's not even a big deal. Questa could even tank it, I bet, and do some damage herself. I bet she could. She's pretty awesome. She heals herself. So we also have Gladros as another really strong support that could be used for this fight. So a debuff immunity is great if you want to prevent the frost on your tank as they're getting hit, but really, your majority of your heroes are not going to get hit, so I wouldn't worry too much about it. The frost isn't that big of a deal to deal with, honestly. And yeah, that's kind of the most of the frosty. Alright, sorry, Necro. I would point out Thea as well. Adri is a very strong one here. She hits 3 times, reduces ultimate energy, places this, and she only needs a little bit of accuracy because she ignores resistance. So she's great to make as a main DPS if you're not going with Summon or Shadow as a DPS type. Megan is always a top tier healer. Don't underestimate how good her battle skill is, increasing ultimate energy and healing for an ally, plus recharging or recovery over time for all allies. And also, I've seen some use by many people of Yulia with little summon teams. So she brings attack up and attack speed up to all undead summoned units. And we have a 3 random attacks with her battle skill, which is considered a basic attack, so you can build her with focusing attack speed. And every 5th attack, she summons a skeleton. So again, attack speed, attack speed, attack speed. And she has an attack speed aura. So this is a really fun character that can boost your team. That's a very budget-friendly option. Also, don't forget Tio for summoners. He has a couple AoE hits. We don't need the AoE now, but hey. But he does bring a 30% attack aura, so he can be very valuable. And then there's plenty of other people you could use as well, but I think that kind of covers the important ones. You don't really need Fitz as a tank to cleanse the frost, because if you're positioning people right, they're not going to get hit. Let's go ahead in here. Oops, wait, I forgot. Let me show you my timings. So quickly, a quick look at my plan. I am using legendary gear and mostly legendary artifacts. That is true, but not necessary. If you don't have Witch's Remains, use the Crown of Unclean. But I did do timings, and I wanted to talk about this. This is important as well. So the actual timings for the boss, you want to time your people logically, because if you're using Emperor gear, whoever has attack penalty, you want that to be placed on the boss to make sure that your attack is higher than your enemies. So you want that person to go first. And for me, this worked out perfect with Fathom Down, because the person placing attack penalty is also the person with Witch's Remains to place the defense penalty. So he should go before all the DPS goes. So I did go ahead, I put him. And because he does kind of strike randomly every 1 second, it's a little bit of a delay. I did go ahead and add a full second here, hoping he places the defense penalty early, although you could, like, go a little further out if you need to. Honestly, you're gonna have to watch and see how it flows with your team. Also, I could have made Zarloth as the Witch's Remains as well. So that's another... And I could have put him in a different set. But I like having Zarloth be able to take advantage of the witch's remains and have him do more damage. So I preferred having Fathom down in witch's remains. So someone else is placed a defense penalty, then everybody else can go and do their damage after. Joyce doesn't need to really be timed because Joyce is just popping up skeletons, or sorry, phantoms with her his ultimate. Alright, so that's kind of why I have the timings I have. And it is an 18-second rotation for the boss. So I'm not timing with the boss's ultimate. I'm not even worried about that, honestly. We don't die. It's not an issue. Which is great, of course, because my only healer is Zarloth. He heals based on attack. But Fathom Down actually can heal himself, so that's quite helpful as well and has damage reduction. But yeah, if you need to time to put up attack penalty before the boss's ultimate, you need to be at an 18-second rotation, or you need to be manualing the fight. But because we have a lot of other stuff going on, like he has he has recharging speed penalty, so that affects the fight. And Fathom Down has ultimate energy adjustments as well. So, like, you know, keeping that in mind, it's kind of hard to time these fights. So I just time my DPS to work together the best they can. Alright, so this fight is going to be... We're going to show you, so... No one else should get frost except for our tank. And you can see how much we keep holding the boss back from even going. Look at that ultimate energy reduction. It's really wonderful. So all the summons up there, yeah, they're going to get frost. Who cares? It's fine. Fathom Down is going to get frost, but who cares? He's a really great tank and works really great in Witch's Remains. So as you can see, I do see defense penalty up as everyone else is going. Why is Zadok? Oh shoot, my Bruh. And my Zadok was not in range for the ultimate because he went all the way over to the far square. So again, I was messing around moving Zadok, but Zadok needs to be in a place where he's actually going to hit because he's a very specific thing and he wasn't using his ultimate. Alright, let's try that again. So there was no defense penalty up. Yeah, it's a little bit of a delay, so that is a debate. I might hold my ultimates a little bit longer because it's not always up. So let's see. It doesn't matter when Joyce puts up his dude. Let's watch for the next one, though. So Fathom Down goes. There's defense penalty, and now everyone else just went. Okay, so that timed good. Alrighty, so we near down our final minute of this battle. As you can see, this was a very easy 22 million. Of course, I do have a couple legendaries, but Premsa is not the main DPS. Zadok is, which I think is really fun. He's really great for this boss, and he can actually be pretty surprising in a lot of this content. He was an MVP last season versus the Mecha Torque, all those orbs. That was really cool to see as well, so it's nice to finally have an excuse to use him. We used to consider him terrible. A lot of the heroes we used to consider terrible we're finding out are actually pretty amazing for specific content, but Zadok can actually do some solid damage. And yeah, survivability is fine, right? Survivability is fine. I did not worry about the frost debuff at all. I did not worry about the buff that goes up on the boss for his ultimate. And you know what? We had no trouble staying alive. And that's a really exciting thing because that means you can build all those DPS in the corner as squishy as possible. They can be super, super, super squishy. They could have more damage. You don't have to worry at all about survivability, which is quite nice, honestly. So that's also something to consider. Like, I could also take off accuracy from Zarloth and just go pure damage. But to be fair, the slingshot artifact really does allow him to get damage and have accuracy, so it doesn't hurt. I don't really know what I want to work on, but this team obviously has a lot more potential. I've seen some pretty big numbers with some of these summon teams, or at least the teams with like Zadok and Joyce. I think my Joyce seems a little weak. I might want to work on that and find a different artifact or something fun to use. But yeah, I'm not mad. It's a bunch of level 95s. No one's even level 100 for the extra stats. Easy 22 million. And you can certainly substitute some other heroes, like instead of Premsa, bring in Yulia to boost the other summons. I think that would be a good one. Or yeah, just play around, honestly. There's Thea, there's Adri. There's so many interesting heroes, and like Adri would actually pump out some good damage, I think, as well. So lots to experiment with. You don't need legendaries for this one. For me, I really was happy to just have an excuse to use Fathom Down now. And yeah, I look forward to seeing what I can do with the other bosses or see how to make this team better. But thank you guys for watching. I hope the discussion was helpful. Be sure to check out the other videos I did on the Chaos Shadow bosses talking about the different, I guess, strategies versus each boss. And I'll see you in the next video. Be sure to download via Android, iOS, Mac, PC, Steam, or Epic Games if you haven't already. And thanks again to Dragonheir Silent Gods for sponsoring today's video.